Hello everybody, Delgarothe here, saying welcome for this Halo 3 ODST Legendary No Death run. So, what is this? A Halo 3 run, just showing off a little bit here with a multiplayer clip. So what is this? A Halo 3 ODST Legendary No Death run, playing Halo 3 ODST from the very beginning to the very end, single segment, single sitting, without dying. So, for those who've seen my Halo Reach No Death run, you know the rules already, but that video, let's just say that it doesn't have a lot of views. But I'm playing the whole game without skipping any encounter. So I'm fighting through every single skirmish except when the objective is flee, escape, evade, or when you're supposed to be stealth. So in the case of ODST, it means that on night sections I can be stealth if I want to, which I do on a few occasions. And since it is an open, the city is completely open, I was not about to chase after every single enemy, obviously. And on day sections, I only skip enemies, I think, well, on coastal highway, obviously, because you didn't have the time to kill every single enemy, and on Oni Alpha site, because the objective is retreat on several occasions. And I'm just as well leaving a few enemies live on the Scarab area in Kikoani Station, which is weird because actually the objective is destroy or evade the Scarab tank. I end up only destroying the Scarab. So, let's get started. Like for my Reach run, I kept the images of the theater mode, theater lobby, so that you can just check the dates, length, and anything like that if you want to. So you may have seen as well that I've created a new profile here. I had to create a new profile every time because I wanted this run to be a fresh start, which implies no access to weapon caches during night section, so that means more ammo management, just a little bit of extra challenge. And when you're attempting to play the game for the 50th time, it's, since the superintendent is giving you hints as to where to find your dialogues, it makes the city feel more alive. So just a little bit more entertaining after playing X number of times the game. So here we are. So compared to my Reach run, ODST is shorter, it's easier, which meant that in truth I did it first. The run dates back to the 25th of February 2014 and it was played from 10:00 in the morning to 12:51 p.m. So it's quite an old run. I finally bought an HD capture card. So Reach has already been posted, full path, single segment, legendary, no death. Now it's ODST. Halo 3 will be coming in a few months, I think. It's already recorded as well, but I just have to find the time to record it, do the voiceover, post it. So yeah, no suspense. The following game will be Halo 3, which was way harder than Reach. Reach being way harder than ODST. So first brute, quite tough. ODST was the last Halo game to have that weird precision system when you could be aiming perfectly at the head and not getting a headshot, but not a big deal. The precise settings for the run were Legendary difficulty, I would have been in Daddy and Iron Skulls on. Those two do rare combat dialogue unlocked and respawn deactivated inside of every level, which forced me to repractice every single level where I died before attempting the whole run again. extra training. So obviously, since there are no BR in the game, I'll be using the carbine a hell lot. First encounter is pretty standard, just the very beginning of the game, kind of a warm-up area. Alright, no problem. So I said that this run was a fresh start. Actually, back in 2014, I beat the game a first time on Legendary without dying, and it was not a fresh start. But the game wasn't recorded properly by theater mode. My console had not been connected to Xbox Live for a while, so it was not erasing all the files in favor of new ones correctly, so I had to do it all over again after 30 attempts. And this time I decided, okay, this is gonna be a fresh start this time, more challenge, more entertaining. And it took me 30 more attempts again to bring this run to you. So right now there is the tactical map tutorial. It does not appear, it's not showing up on screen on theater mode, weirdly. But yeah, since this was a fresh start, I had to run the tactical map tutorial. I'm just gonna move again in a few seconds. And fresh start for this run means that no weapon cages, so no mongoose, which makes your life really easier during night sections. And I really do not have access to any weapon cages in this run since I'm not picking up any of the dialogues. One grunt and 2 jackals left, and we'll be on to Teari Plaza, the first actual level of the game. Which brings me to one of the things that I really love about ODST, it's the changing of pace between night and day sections. Night is pretty intimate, pretty calm, you can be stealth. Day sections then really back to that old Halo feeling. 30 seconds of fun, 30 seconds of calm. And yeah, sniper rifles are gonna be a big deal as well in this game. I think that's a Halo game where you're using them the most. Okay, on to Teari Plaza. So I must say that for this run, and I would not have been able to complete Halo 3, for example, with the same problem, because it is way harder, or even Reach. But I was playing with a slow turning controller. I had difficulties. I think it was looking left, and up was a little bit better, but it was still harder than normal. But since ODST is pretty forgiving in terms of difficulty, it was okay. I could manage it. And it's only really noticeable during vehicular sections. You'll see it on Uplift Nature Reserve. Here, when I'm just on foot, it's really not a thing. And already running into one of ODST really nice musics. More than his share. Considering that it is a short game, it's impressive the amount of really good music that it has. Really nice tracks. And here incoming betrayal by the brute. Bam! Right on the grunt butt. So unfortunately, you won't see it because it was done on the first run that was not recorded properly. I had a pretty interesting fight against the hunters that time. I think I just broke my record for killing them extremely rapidly. They were sticking really close to each other, and I must have killed them in like 15 seconds. Not in this very run, though. Nice. I'm pretty happy with this run, though. I think it's very representative of my actual level and the way I play usually in Halo. So like I said in my Reach No Death run, I'm not an amazing player, definitely. Nothing like MLG. But, well, I'm still good, and I think the run is still entertaining to watch. You just see a normal person playing, you know, not an extraterrestrial speedrunner or MLG. Incoming sticky. Poor lad. So initially I thought that I was gonna post an uncommented version as well, including the cinematics. But just like for Reach, I won't do it, finally, because for Reach, it took me ages to upload the video. So I think it's gonna be pretty long as well for this one, so I won't do it, sorry. So in this level, like in a lot of other levels in the game, the main threat is the snipers, but like I said, difficulty is more balanced than in some other games. Not naming Halo 2, but like in Halo 3 as well. Snipers can hit you and you can survive a shot as long as it's not a headshot, and that's really a cool thing because there are a ton of snipers in ODST in some areas, especially during some night sections. You still have to know the location almost by heart, at least all of their potential locations, since they are random during night sections. But I mean, you can get shot once or twice, it's okay, you won't die instantly like in Halo 2. And it was a little bit better in Halo 3, but still annoying. I think the snipers actually are just like they should be in ODST. In 2, they were just impossible. In 3, it was a little bit better, but still annoying. And then what they did in 4 was just a little bit too much, making them easy. And in 5, well, I don't know. Let's just not talk about Halo 5 for now. But in ODST, they're just fine. So in this area, another really good track, the end of More Than Its Share. Remember the first time I played this area? When the hunters appeared and the music starting pumping in. Really cool. Here I don't know why I didn't take the shot earlier. It's true that in this game the carbine had like crazy recoil as well. Yeah, here you can really see the old precision system of the first Halo games. A little bit awkward. So last sniper down, last basic infantry enemy down. On to the hunters now. Hello there. That's the, I call it the copper hunter introduced in ODST. Headshot. Okay, that's it for Teari Plaza, basically. Just 3 grunts left. And like in my reach run, the first levels were definitely the ones where I died the most, and by far. And like in Reach, I think it's just because you have less powerful weapons and less options to deal with the enemies. Not necessarily just because you're being less prudent in the beginning of the game. But yeah, only basic weapons, more basic enemies as well, but with legendary difficulty. They're a major threat still. So here it was the first appearance of an engineer. Second night section with engineer in the flesh, not just in cinematic. And another amazing track, Difference for Darkness, for this level. So when I talk about level for ODST, I usually consider Teari Plaza to be the introduction night section plus Teari Plaza, and Uplift Nature Reserve, this night section plus the actual level, and so on and so on. Just leave you for a few seconds with the nice ambience and music. Ouais.
Allez, je suis pas pique.
Tu fais les courses?
Non, mais je sais quoi faire. Je vais acheter le pain. Moi, il restait une baguette. Je prends une baguette et demie.
On peut pas l'ouvrir.
Tu peux mettre aussi le bâton. Ouais. Allez.
Ouais. always use your environment, well, if you can call it an explosive barrel environment. So here, first enemies that I'm skipping, Camo Brute and 1 or 2 grunts. I don't know if there are other enemies on the other side of the plaza actually. So I'll do it quite a few times during night sections, since when the developers made those sections, they thought that the player would be as stealth as possible. But it's not a big deal, it's not tough fights that I'm avoiding, so I'm just really okay with it. It's easier, for example, than the enemies that I'm skipping the first level of Winter Contingency in my Reach run, which is completely okay because the objective is run again. But even in Reach, this area that I'm skipping is not really tough. It's just after over 100 attempts, I'm just, oh, let's just skip those fuckers. Screw it. And now, already on to my favorite level of ODST. Uplift Nature Reserve. Large open areas with a lot of AI allied vehicles. The best of Halo. And there are too many Spartan lasers in this game. Seriously. So here you'll notice when I'll be in a Warthog or in a Ghost that looking, I think it was right and up, or maybe left and up, was noticeably harder for me. Bam! That suppressed SM7 is a beast. Like the pistol, actually. So, since I was playing with a fresh profile, there is an achievement in this level for destroying all 5 or 6 Wraith. So anytime I was destroying one, there was the message showing up on my screen, achievement progress 1 out of 5 or 6. So it was really cool. Easier, you know, I didn't have to keep looking at the Wraith after shooting at it. I just had to I could look elsewhere and the achievement message would tell me if I had destroyed it or not. Like, wait, right here, I was not sure actually before looking away, but the achievement message popped up. Seriously, there's nothing left of this Ghost, and it was still working. And the hug is not in that good of a shape as well. Hiding from the chopper and pursuit. And one of the Marine is gonna get into the chopper, so that in falling areas I have 3 Warthogs plus a chopper, which is amazing. Really one of the things that make me miss the most Halo 3 and ODST. Vehicular combat with a ton of vehicles. I think that's missing in Reach. a little bit better in 4, but still less vehicles than what you can get in 3. Whoops. Hey, convoy. Just being prudent because the fuel rod Grant was still alive. Okay. Taking care of it. Oh yeah, turning right was difficult. And I'm almost gonna get splattered just jumping down off the tower. Thank you, mate. Thank you. So, like in Halo Reach, I did a top 3 of my best of the biggest close calls during the run. And unfortunately for suspense, the number 1 close call is in this level. You'll see it in 5 minutes. And the 2 other ones are in the last level, Coastal Highway. But yeah, the one of Uplift Nature Reserve is really a big deal for me. I would have been so pissed. Stay tuned for it. Yeah, I really like this ambience. Warthogs everywhere. And here the brute chopper had destroyed one of the turrets already. Not prudent to run over bodies if there's grenade on the grounds near them and they are killed by fuel rod or something like that. Could get you killed, and I'm gonna do the same mistake at the end of this level. Sorry. This area is really cool. Get a lot of skirmishes happening at once in different locations of the map. That's what I call warfare. Whoop, behind you. So, again, I was using the all-powerful, the ultimate combination on Legend difficulty for this level, Warthog plus Fuel Rod Gun for the passenger, which makes you basically invincible on Legend difficulty. You're just destroying everything, destroying shit like hell.
Et en laser.
The SRS sniper rifle and the beam rifle must definitely be the most used weapons in the game just after the carbine. Through the foliage. Oh, I didn't notice before, but I think it's a chick driving the chopper. Could have been close. Fortunately, my marine died just while killing the brute. Well, that was not simple. Yeah, straight for 10 minutes. You've got to press B twice. So anytime I'm doing these runs, I'm doing everything I can to ensure that in case of emergency I have everything I need. Like picking up those incendiary grenades. I haven't ever used them, but just in case, you know, I pick them up every time. And you'll see in a few months, but in Halo 3 it saved my life at like 30 seconds from the end of the game. I would have died if I were not the type to take maximum precautions, picking everything that I could need later. Kind of things, you know, that speedrunners are just wasting just to show off. A little flagrant, yep. We're clear. Onto the area in which the first big close calls happens. So just wait for it. It's gonna be in about 60 seconds, I believe. Did you just see that, people? If you haven't if you haven't seen it, just go back 10 seconds and watch closely. that freaking friendly rocket just flying an inch in front of my warthog. If it had killed me, I would have been so mad at that guy, at that marine, stupid marine. Yeah. It's really a special close call. Oh yeah, here I rolled on the dead brute body just as its spike grenades were blowing up. Could have gotten me killed. It was close as well. But yeah, the rocket close call is definitely my number one for this run. So the two others, number 2 and number 3, are gonna be on coastal highway. And this is going to be the end of the fun convoy. Yep, that big explosion you heard was the two hogs. Too bad. Wenny, witty, wiki. Seriously, that jump was even harder than the one in the Maw in Combat Evolved. Those warthogs are beasts. On to the longest night section of the entire game. So one of my favorite tracks in the game OST, even though it's just an ambience track, is Rain. Playing during night sections, but on night sections half of the musics are random. You just have to spend X amount of time during that night section to trigger a track. So Rain is pretty rare actually. I must have heard it actually only twice, maybe 3 times total in my entire Halo 3 ODST playing. So it's really rare, and on the other No Death run that was not recorded properly, Rain played during this night section, and I was like, it's a sign, it's gonna be it, I'm gonna make this run this time. I made it, and it was not recorded properly. And of course, this time around, Rain is not gonna play. A shame, because on the area where it played, the track that is gonna be playing on this very run is the one that's just before the piano section that I like in the OST on the CD. So I thought, oh, it's coming, but no. Oh, by the way, the first weapon cage, I think, is where I just started this night section. If you're playing the game normally and just picking the audio logs as you're finding them, I think it's the first place where you find a weapon cage, probably with an SRS. Then when you find the ones with SSM rocket launcher later on, it really makes those night sections really easy, especially where you have a few hunters and a ghost prowling. So like I said, for those who haven't played the game for a while, patrols and sniper locations are randomly generated during night sections. So here I knew that the sniper of the this whole area was already dead, but I was nonetheless checking the other possible areas. I had been killed too many times in manners that were completely unlikable. Like, I've played this game 100 times maybe, and during my no death run attempts, I had been killed so many times in fashions that had never happened to me before. So I was definitely not taking any chances, just checking every possible spot, even when I was thinking, okay, I know that there's no sniper left in this area. Audio log here. And that sniper over there must be deaf. And here I was worried because sometimes the hunters are, in a way, triggered. If you take too much time killing the sniper. But here I don't even remember if they were there, the hunters. Don't even know. Okay, and this is where Rain played during the other run. Maxed on incendiary grenades, which are extremely helpful against enemies that are protected by an engineer energy field. Like that last brute is gonna learn. And the engineers die with their former masters, usually. Most of the time. And anytime you want to be stealth, deactivate your night vision. Makes you more noticeable for the enemies. Quick, grab the gas gun, there is a sniper on a nearby roof. Okay, on to Kizingle Boulevard, another really cool level of the game, with another amazing track, Traffic Jam. So we are not even halfway through the game yet. So I was still playing rather careless. You know, if I die, it's not a big deal. Just an hour to do over again. Not that big of a deal. And this first kill is not the easiest of the level. Can be a little bit tricky. And there is that plasma pistol that's always disappearing on one of the two jackals. A dick. Perfect timing, but bad throw. Give me that scorpion. And let me slowly turn it around. Seriously, anytime I see that light of a vehicle tagging on a scorpion shell, I'm like, what the fuck? Well, fortunately it's not as bad as in Halo 2, where a ghost can survive 4 direct hits of Scorpion just because there's an ultra in it. So ridiculous.
Ok, si c'est moi qui pilote le char.
Really love that music, that tune. Don't know why I'm thinking about that just now, but seeing the jackals fly makes me think. Fortunately, they are not including. I don't know what the word is in English, but bodies getting torn apart with explosions, because that would be so bloody and disgusting at times. Yeah, bodies torn apart. I think that's the expression. Dismembered, maybe. So really, in this level, in the tank, you are pretty much invincible. Only in the very last section with the tank can you die, I guess, but still, you're pretty secure in this thing.
Pas de soucis. La SCO que voilà est un spécialiste en explosifs. Il est là. Il a eu son compte.
Soldats, passez la porte blindée pour accéder au boulevard Kizingo et rejoindre le point de ralliement. Je place un marqueur sur la porte. Allez-y, soldats.
Faites bien attention. Ghost, restez.
Really, in Halo 3, like in Halo 2 in fact, compared to any other Halo game, it's amazing how it just seems that the developers were so at ease to throw many vehicles of different types at you. If you compare it to Reach or 5, well, 5 again. In 5, for example, you know, the first real vehicular level on San Helios, you just have 2 enemy wraiths, 2 ghosts, and yeah, that's it. Yeah, enemy lines. You just get another wraith, and on the so-called epic section, just 2 ghosts with suicide grunts. Well, I mean, in Halo 2, well, sometimes it's a little bit too much in Halo 2 when you have thousands of ghosts on the bridge. But in 3 and ODST, it's really nice. You know, you've got many vehicles against you. You really get the feeling that you are in the midst of a large-scale battle. So yeah, this is the only area where it can get a little bit tricky if you're being too bold. But as long as you take your time, going slowly forward, you're just okay. And here, ignore that. Just pretend it did not happen.
Qu'est-ce que tu fabriques là-haut? Une roquette. Tu mets cette apparition. C'est le feu.
Okay, now on foot, up to the hardest section of the game so far.
Rejoins-moi à pied.
Holding up against waves of enemies with Dutch. So giving him a fuel rod, of course. Infinite fuel rod to a super ally is the winning combination. Perfect grenade. And here I managed to get 2 Marines to survive up ahead, which is extremely rare on Legendary difficulty. Well, at least trying to run the game no death, which means being prudent, getting forward, and just not rushing widely, unleashing rockets, just to try to get them to survive. Here, being cautious, it's really rare to have any Marine still alive when you get to their location, to their position.
Ils sont tombés dessus, ils connaissent notre point de ralliement. Génial. On a des armes et des munitions là-haut, on se bouge.
And on the non-recorded run, it was a pretty interesting section because I don't know for what reason, but the sniper rifle was not there at all. So I had to get through this whole encounter without any long-range weapon. It was pretty tough actually, but I managed it, and I was like, yeah, this is so cool. And not recorded. Shit. So I'm trying to remember how I went through it. I think I took up the same position, but I must have been you know, way more playing a hide and seek game, just waiting for the enemies to come onto the stairs, probably to take them out. Probably what I did, because that's what I do if it happened to me again today. Whoops again. And Dutch is taking a beating up there. So taking care of the fuel rod grunt that can snipe you with his fuel rod. And here I think that the phantom is gonna disappear magically after dropping the second group. Yes, it did. Nice. Checking the stairs regularly. That foot shot previously on the Jackal was just really fun. And so usually I manage to disable the Wraith and rush to it, but this time, every time I was releasing my overcharged shot, he was turning towards me, so I was like, I'm not taking any chances. I'm just gonna let Dutch hit it a few times. And the job is done. Poor Dutch, that was resembling more like your porcupine than an ODST most of the time. Whoops. A short night section to get to Ani Alpha site, which is gonna be just thinking about it, not to say anything wrong yet. It's gonna be the first day section where I skip a few enemies, since you are meant to retreat to the other side of the bridge, then up the hill. Oh yeah, and this sorry, this night section is actually pretty funny. I get what could have been one of the 3 close calls because of the Jackal sniper, then a fun kill on Camo Brutes. And some suck shots against jetpack brutes. So that was the Jackal almost popping up my head. Blowing my head up. Okay. Took care of the brutes. Not the most elegant way though. I never really struggled for ammunition on this run, but sometimes you're unlucky and brutes do not have that many carbines, and you're low on ammo for the carbine, which is a pretty bad thing on night sections in this game. Yeah, watch this. Going to be a fun kill. Not on purpose, though. Yeah, the second plasma grenade was propelled in the air by the explosion of the first one and blew up in midair just in front of the face of the second brute. Pretty violent stuff. So the Jackal sniper of the area was probably just above me, but it was just double or triple checking. Every possible spot. Stealth fail, but luck is sticky. Okay, onto Ani Alpha side. So like I said, I'm retreating every time the objective is to retreat. I've done, though, once before, just for fun, clearing the entire bridge. And I think it took me over 45 minutes or maybe an hour to do it, dying at least 10 10 to 15 times trying to do so. So right here, not retreating, going forward towards the enemy. Yeah, 45 minutes to an hour of effort to kill every infantry, the 2 or 3 wraiths, the benches, and I could not destroy the phantom, obviously. But here I'm just retreating. And I won't do any unnecessary heroism on other sections as well. I just retreat up the hill as soon as they will tell me to.
Salut. Ça va? Ça va. Je suis en train de m'enregistrer sur le deuxième film.
Je Quoi?
Je suis en train d'enregistrer le deuxième film Halo là.
Ça avec l'énergie et en déconnant.
J'essaye. Mais bon, comme c'est long, au bout d'un
Mais
moment
non,
je
mais
m'ennuie
t'es
aussi.
trop monocorde. Essaye de mettre du ton, des changements de rythme. C'est ça.
Ah, bravo.
Oh la vache, t'es obligé de brancher tout ça, quel bordel.
Défendez la crête. Tenez-les à distance du bâtiment de l'ONI.
C'est quoi comme programme? C'est le programme intégré à ce que tu as là?
Ouais, j'ai fait sur leur site et...
Repliez-vous. Je répète. Repliez-vous vers la crête.
Tu mangeras de la purée.
On ne fait pas de prisonniers, tous en grenade.
Non, je vois Nico demain. Un de ceux pour Magic. Ouais.
Il est toujours aussi gros?
Bah, je sais pas, je vais voir ça demain.
Ici en quoi? En 2 ans, même pas maintenant? Un an, parce qu'on allait, c'était quand on allait au Japon.
Moins, pour moi, il a vraiment grossi en 2-3 ans. Bon, je continue juste un peu quelques commentaires là.
So, defense of the hill practically over, with the track that was remastered for Halo Reach beta, multiplayer beta trailer, which did not appear in the final game. A shame. So the defense of the hill was a really tricky part, and this one is at least as much tricky. Just pushing the crates around, not to get hindered, is it the word, in my movements during the fight. And yeah, clearing the place for grenades and all things like that.
Dans cette tourelle. Et voilà. Croisez, les gars. Ennemis sur la gauche, ajustez votre tir.
And this is one of the only times in the entire Halo saga where on Legend difficulty it can be advantageous to use a turret without detaching it. For a time at least. And that was unfortunate that Grand Body just in front of the turret.
Sur la gauche. Ils ont des renforts.
But when the brutes appear, it is time to detach it. Anyway. It's a really cool fight here in the interior. Man, those brutes are tough. I don't even know if it was me killing him or his own grenade. Just making sure that the game is not gonna make the weapons disappear at any checkpoint, because I'm gonna need the Spartan laser on top of the tower. Oof. That was close. So once again, the equipments added in Halo 3 are not a minor addition to the game, contrary to a lot of people, to what a lot of people think. In Halo 3 it is essential, as you'll see in the run I'll post later, to use them efficiently. And in ODST, I was thinking a lot of time, I wish I could pick them up. Actually, it would have been more interesting if the player had been able to use the equipment still, And it would have been more logical as well for an ODST to be able to use the equipments and not, for example, to detach and run around with turrets. Actually, you're feeling stronger, at least tougher than a Spartan 2 in this game. You're not hitting as hard as a Spartan 2, but your health on Legend difficulty is more important, is higher.
Il en reste plus un seul, Dodge. Rejoins ma position.
And when I see those sandbags everywhere, I think of the poor guys that had to carry them around. I think if the developers knew how hard it is, how hard of a labor to make up sandbags, they would not put so many of them everywhere. Please?
Ok, ça suffit comme ça. Transférez les codes d'activation sur mon com. Si quelqu'un doit prendre cet endroit, ce sera moi.
Thank you.
Je vous remercie. Sur charge. Regarde pas fort. Ça fait mal au cul. Et pas que là d'ailleurs.
Buggers incoming.
Ils peuvent venir ces foutus vermines.
Alright. Okay, I'm just gonna do a little mistake with the rockets. Almost a close call. Right here. Okay, that's it for this level. And now I thought, okay, this run is pretty serious right now. More than halfway through the game. And this night section, this is the point where, when you have access to weapon caches, you have access to the Mongoose at night. So here, the night section is gonna be, well, not that long, just 5 minutes, but if you have access to the Mongoose, it's just an affair of 2 minutes maximum, just driving past all the enemies. And this first part, this first area is pretty tricky actually. With three snipers and 2 jetpack brutes. So not easy. I've died quite a few times here. Luckily the first jackal was easily located, and the second was second one as well. It was just the third one here on the left that I had trouble finding. Run brute down, alright. So I just thought, let's take care of the right sniper. No problem. Okay. Here I'll run up to the 2 different sniper bodies available to me just to be sure that I get as much ammunition as I can for the beam rifle. Because from this point on, up until the last night section, there is only going to be the beginning of the next night section where I'll be able to find another beam rifle, and that will be it until the end of night sections. I won't have access to any other sniper rifle ammo, which is, it's not a lot really, especially going on foot. You have many chances to fall on an unexpected patrol and to waste ammo. And so I was thinking, there are no elites at all in this game, and it's a bad thing. They should have implemented at least a few of them still surviving and being hunted by the brutes, and it would have been a nice occasion on this night section and the following one, just the last night sections as you're getting deeper into the heart of the city. It would have been cool to have something like a building with barricaded elites besieged by a few brutes. It would have been a fun thing to implement into the game. So obviously I did not want to waste any grenade on that hunter, so just playing cat and mouse. Alright, and on one of my attempts, just as I'm gonna go into the street there, I fell onto a random patrol, a brute and 3 grunts, but really just at the corner there, and I didn't know at all that it was possible to have a patrol right there. And I was like, holy fuck! And of course it got the attraction of the hunter. I know I survived there, but it was really a tough fight and wasting a lot of ammo. And maybe it was the reason why I died later on another night section. Maybe because I had wasted too much ammo on useful weapons. So now again to another sniper rifle level. So just an hour and a half into the game, and already pretty close to the end. So it's really not a long game. You're not that much tired when you get close to the end. But I did some mistakes just because of the little fatigue that I got, and one of the mistakes is gonna be in 2 or 3 minutes against the sniper where I could have died. Would have been pretty bad, and it could have been one of my top 3 close calls.
Butez l'artilleur. Roméo, un fantôme vient de se poser. Allez Roméo, franchis donc ces portes. Ouvrez-moi, je recharge. Recharge. Les enfoirés se sont terrés.
Always a grind on that turret.
Recharge.
That was a bad grenade.
Recharge.
On s'est écrasé, chef. Sur un toit, nord-est de votre position.
Bouge pas, Dodge. Viens te chercher. Des munitions, Roméo. Sniper. Les brutes en jetpack. Abattez-les vite. Des renforts. En transportant. En recharge.
There's a guy stuck up on the bridge up there.
Il est refroidi.
Okay, getting ammo, and the next area is gonna be the one when I'm doing that almost fatal mistake against the Jackal sniper. It's yeah. It would be my number 4 close call if I was doing a top 4. So right there, I'm gonna get into the open and just stand there like a freaking idiot for no reason. I had completely forgotten about that sniper. Fortunately, he missed his second shot, or it would have been the end. And crop shot for him. Getting to the fun part of the level. Really unique in the Halo saga.
Affirmatif. On y est presque.
Again, fuel rod to an ally. Ultimate combo. And on this section, I'm always surprised that there is no more team killing against the player, considering the amount of rockets and all the kind of exploding things that are everywhere around. As well, surprisingly, I've never been, well, like ever splattered by some benchy debris falling onto the platform. And really cool music. We had bits and pieces earlier.
Pilote mort dans le
Now,
crash. Nous autres, ok.
this one, I don't know the name of the exact bit of the track that's playing right now. And here, I did not get a single kill with that entire SRS magazine. A shame. Almost a double kill here. I don't like putting down a missile launcher before it's completely empty, just in case of emergency. I pick one up uh, randomly and I fall on one that's almost empty. That would be a bad thing. So I prefer to empty them completely before taking up a new one. Complete mayhem here. Total chaos. And that was not me killing it. Final Phantom. Sorry, turret guy. Not the first time I hit him. Okay, that's it. And of course, the black guy is down. Once again. Like in any good Hollywood movie. That was ironic, of course. Last but one night section with the start that's not that simple actually. Can be tricky if you're careless.
D'enregistrer, ouais.
Aki est là, je te laisse la porte ouverte pour que tu la surveilles un peu. À
Ouais.
tout à l'heure, ma fille. À tout.
Ouais.
And I arrived just in time to launch the next part. So here, since I was forced to be on foot, it was a little bit trickier than what it would have been if I had had access to the mongoose. So, Kikoni Station, the only aerial level of the game, and probably the one that I hate the most.
Mais un fantôme, ton dernier entraînement date vraiment.
On va voir de quoi tu te souviens, soldat. Allez. Chocha.
Chef, d'autres de ces pieuvres volantes, on les défend?
Elles sont entre nous et ce fantôme. À ton avis?
Yeah, on ODST, the bad thing about the game is that the last levels are by far the weaker. By far the weaker ones. This one here is not particularly interesting because of the box-like areas, and the Banshee flight behavior is weird in this game, I think, compared to Halo 3. Then in Data Hive, it's just a long, boring, repetitive level, and then Coastal Highway, well, escort mission, all is said. It's so rare to have an escort mission level that's done properly in a video game. In particular in Coastal Highway, sometimes you're defending the an elephant, right? Perfectly, and it's still getting killed. The engineer gets killed, you don't know why. And some other times you're just letting him completely alone, just minding your own business, and it survives. So it's really bizarre.
Ah, cabine, ok. Commande de vol ok sur le tableau de bord. Enfin, presque. Mais on peut décoller, je crois. C'est parti.
So if I remember correctly, it was the 5th time that I reached that part of the game. Well, 6th actually, because I died twice on Data Hive, twice on Coastal Highway, and then there was the 5th time apart from this one, when I beat the game. So yeah, it's six times I reached that part of the game. And I don't remember ever dying on Kikoni Station. On NMPD HQ, I must have died twice or thrice, maybe, and levels before that, exponentially more. Like 10 times on the Alpha side, 20 to 30 on, well, not 20 to 30, not that much, 15 times on not traffic jam Kizingle Boulevard, and then as much I think on Uplift Nature Reserve and Teari Plaza. So yeah, overall 60 deaths. a reminder on Reach, I estimate that I died over 150 times to complete the game. And then for Halo 3, that is incoming in quite a bit of time, I won't tell you right now how many times I died, because I died a hell lot more. I really don't know what game I'm gonna do next, because apart from these three, I have not recorded any other game yet. It won't be Halo 2, that at least is sure. I don't think I will ever try Halo 2, no death. Difficulties are ridiculous on that game. So here I'm just killing the two benches that are coming in, but on other sections I'm just letting the benches live, because as long as you stay in the area, there is going to be two benches coming in regularly. So infinitely spawning enemies to me means the right to skip the area, of course. Well, not the entire area, but just killing the minimum amount of enemies necessary to advance, to progress. And I was not obviously bothering to kill the engineers at all here.
J'y vais à pied. Je vais voir s'il n'y a pas un contournement dans le tunnel. Ouvrez-moi, recharge.
This is one of the only areas in the level that I kinda like. Against the camo brutes and the chieftain. Keep forgetting pressing B.
Chef, il y a sans doute un générateur de secours dans le fond du tunnel.
So now the Scarab area. So the objective is destroy or evade the Scarab tank. And actually I end up only destroying the Scarab, because in my opinion it is the safest and fastest thing to do. And on the the version, the first time I beat a game without dying, well, when it was not recorded properly, I got a really close call destroying the Scarab. I destroyed its core, got back, well, got out of the Scarab, and when it blew up, it propelled the Banshee that I just gotten off of. It propelled it right towards me as I was opening the door, the escaping door, and it plowed into the wall just next to me, and it was like, holy shit, that was close. So which was why here, which is why I just turned back towards the Banshee to make sure that it was not flying towards me. So okay, now only 2 levels left. The 2 hardest levels, which is a good thing, difficulty speaking, but apart from that, those 2 levels suck. Seriously. Well, we just have the last night section before, which is as well a tricky one. You really better hope that you have a lot of carbine and a beam rifle ammo to handle that night section properly. Really short but tricky. You've got the chieftain with a fuel rod gun, a lot of jetpack brutes, other standard brutes, 2 snipers, and the nice music again. No comment on those plasma pistol shots. Just wanted to preserve some carbine and sniper ammo, but fuck it. Court, hein?
Hein?
C'est court. And here, really nice shots. Incoming. Lowering their shields with the sniper and finishing them off with the carbine. Lucky, but still nice. Shut that gob. Okay, bye bye, Night New Mombasa. It's been a pleasure. Now to the two broken levels of the game. Kind of.
J'arrive à qui?
So actually the loading times for the theater lobby are the same that what I got while playing. Because I was thinking it was gonna make the recording longer than the actual gameplay, but no. It's gonna be the same time, same length than what it was when I was playing.
Ouais, il peut fermer s'il te plaît.
Ferme le garage. J'ai 5 garages ouverts.
So yeah, a really long level, repetitive, standard. Only kind of fun if you know it by heart, like Coastal Highway, which is as well pretty repetitive, but at least with larger areas. But yeah, endless corridors here. And I said I died twice on this level. Actually, I died once, and the other fail was a death of the engineer. And on the non-recorded version of the run, I almost killed myself, Virgil, the engineer, throwing an incendiary grenade towards a brute just as that fucking stupid engineer flew right in front of me, and I got it right on with the incendiary grenade. But surprisingly, it didn't die from it. It was like badly injured or dying, but still alive, and it survived until the end. And so one of the changes, when you have all of your dialogues unlocked, really all of them, the cop is gonna follow you for more time than what he does on this run.
C'est quoi ton problème, Virgile? Tu veux me faire tuer ou quoi?
Danger. Autostoppeur égale fugitif.
J'y vois que dalle. Passez devant. Chien. C'est immédiat. Terminons, on fait la peau. Et voilà, il faut que je me charge du tout bim.
Last stealth routes in this corridor. Burn, motherfucker. Weird teleporting brute. So the noob combo is really a thing for this level. Come on. So this is the cop last stop here. So like I said, if you have all of your dialogues unlocked, he'll follow you down there. There won't be any beggars on this shaft, and so he'll follow you through the frozen rooms, which will give you access to the very last audio log, the extra audio log, and the end of the storyline for the audio logs. But here I'm on my own through the frozen rooms, which is what usually happens when you're playing the game, because most of the players didn't have all the audio logs found. And this room can be tricky at times. A lot of fuckers. Secret room unlocked with the cop and the audio logs on the left. And the flamethrower that I end up not using at all, I think. And yeah, the ODST is running faster with support weapons than a Spartan 2.
Je suis désolé. J'aurais dû vous parler davantage de cette mission. Et du reste, d'ailleurs.
Seriously? So yeah, actually it's just once every 3 or 4 times, you don't know why. Just as you enter just as you pass the door, the enemies spot you inside this room. Usually it does not happen. Doesn't happen. And here I thought that it was the last bugger, or one of the last, and actually there were 3 or 4 left. Sneaky ones.
Bienvenue. Accès autorisé.
Finding there. And more corridors. Fuck. You really don't see the end of this level when you're playing, trying to do a no death run. You're like, oh come on, make this damn level end. Especially since Coastal Highway is the hardest level of the game. You're eager to get to it and get done with it. Be done with it. Just thinking about that right now, but the brute shot was such an emblematic weapon for the brutes that I still don't understand why in Reach they thought that we're just gonna put the spiker and the hammer and that will be it, and no brute shot for the brutes in Reach. What the fuck? Instead they decided to replace it with that really dumb concussion rifle, especially on legendary, the gun that's killing you in 2 shots, and when you're using it, even a grunt is almost impossible to kill. I really never understand why they did that. And I think they only brought it back for 2 or 3 maps in the Master Chief Collection multiplayer.
soldats. Par là. J'ai trouvé un
Étage
ascenseur.
supérieur.
Venez.
Arrête.
Place termine.
So that large buggers section is really easy when you know by heart
Et discret.
from, well, where they're gonna be coming from.
Et merde ici.
Overkill each time.
On ne peut pas reculer. Il faut encore avancer. Pas mal.
Joli tir, soldat. Continuez comme ça, on y est presque.
Yeah, this level is incredibly long. Like, it's Halo CE's library with buggers instead of the flood.
Bien joué.
A weird design choice again by Bungie, putting only one of these kinda bugger captains in the entire game.
Suivez-moi.
It's like they're teasing, hey, you want more? Play firefight. But hey, I want to fight them, but in the campaign. So here I do not know, I do not remember if there are more buggers coming in if you spend more time in the large room. I don't even remember.
Ils auront vite fait de défoncer cette porte. On les sort tous. Vite.
Get a little bit of sniping and then the last difficult bit of the level. Defending the engineer as you're gonna be exiting its data bay, or you know how we call that? So this is where I almost burned the engineer to death once. Like this engineer is really stupid, really dumb. He could just stay back, but for no reason he's just flying in the midst of the combat sometimes. Like right here. What the fuck are you doing? Just stay back, please. And it forces you to be aggressive. So I think that I'm gonna realize that engineer was on the right. Yeah, so I have to go on the right if it is.
Le bleu, j'aurais besoin d'un peu d'aide, ramène-toi. Véronica, par ici, plus vite.
Nice clearing though.
C'est notre sortie, le bleu, tu passes par cette porte.
And who knows why, but Buck sometimes loves, sorry, throwing grenades in the middle of this room. Fortunately, he didn't this time. And long, boring dialogue here.
Porte fermée.
But well,
Merde.
on to Coastal Highway, hardest bit of the game after a few last buggers.
J'en ai vu des centaines aujourd'hui. Il a quoi de spécial celui-là?
Cet ingénieur sait ce que cherchent les Covenants. Et si je pouvais en capturer plus, je le ferais. Ils peuvent faire basculer la guerre.
Ah,
J'espère au moins que tu n'en as pas tué.
non. Bon, peut-être un ou deux.
Ah bah bravo.
Comment je pouvais savoir? Ascenseur, on se bouge.
And we're here. And so this is the hardest and as well the longest level of the game.
Capitaine, et si vous restiez là, on ouvre la voie.
Ok.
So the start of the level is really easy, just warming up for the rest of the level that gets increasingly hard until you get into the Scorpion tank. And then it's just easy until the end. But until you get there, you're struggling on the highway. So once again, it's a good thing that the end of a game is difficult, but being an escort mission is not a good thing. That's a fact. And I was lucky here to kill that many brutes before getting to the other side of the plaza.
Ouais, vous l'avez achevé, mais je l'avais déjà bien travaillé.
C'était le dernier. Capitaine, on bouge.
Et où ça, précisément?
La route du front de mer, la plus rapide pour quitter la ville.
Gonna get the rocket launcher, essential to survive on the highway.
C'était vraiment trop simple.
So then it was the 4th time reaching that part. Once I had reached that level, I completed it already without dying. So I knew I could do it. And 2 other times I died
Tous ces tirs. Elle est
on the Wraith on the highway section. And a second time the engineer died on the Wraith on the highway section. Which was really annoying to me because it was one of these times where I was completely destroying all the enemies on that area. I destroyed the Wraith super fast, destroying ghosts myself, back taking care of the benches, and when I heard, oh no, he's dead, I was like, what the fuck? I was doing everything perfectly. And if I remember correctly, the time where I beat the game the first time, that was the entire contrary. I was doing everything really poorly, performing poorly, and the engineer survived. And I was like, I deserve to die here, game. So that's it, the infinite highway. So here I was just thinking, okay, the only hard part is gonna be the ghosts with the Maul Hog. Then I get a Ghost Hog, it's gonna be a little bit easier. Then there'll be the Wraith, it's gonna be tough, and then it's gonna be okay. So I just thought there's gonna be only 2 hard parts. But I end up, you'll see, getting more difficulties than expected. Here in this very first bit of the highway, it's okay. Just kill the fuel rod grunt and you're fine. Just drive here and there to be sure that no random grenade is gonna get stuck onto your Warthog. The second bit is easy as well. There's just that brute shot, but it's not always there, and here I think it was not. Oh yeah, it was there. Okay. Yeah, and just being careful not splattering too many grunts, because sometimes they will pull the pin of their grenade just as you're splattering them, and it can be fatal. Third part, well, okay, just rushing through. Just have to blow one of the watchtowers up.
Il se dirige vers le cratère d'hyperespace, le site de fouille Covenant au nord de la ville.
Rockets here. And then the buggers. You'll see here I'm gonna be taking a hell lot of damage while driving through the swarm. But actually it was the very first time it had never happened to me taking that much damage from the buggers. You'll see it's a close call. Not the one of my top 3s, but really I almost died there. Fortunately there are health packs nearby. And as well, it was maybe the one time where I struggled the most to kill buggers. I guess I was all the time shooting on the tougher ones. And here is the last OK highway section, because the following one is gonna be with ghosts, and ghosts are a nightmare. They are the ones that are making this level difficult with the Wraith. So you can see that I was, anytime I had the choice between turning right and turning left, I was choosing the left because of my slow turning controller. So obviously before performing Halo 3 No Death, I had bought a new one. And so here we are, the difficult bits. So just letting Buck get in the front to attract most of the fire. Not sparing my carbine ammo at all to help him as much as I could and to be able to advance as fast as possible to escort the elephant. Oops, no, get back in please, and then fuel ride. And that brute was not dead. Now he's dead. Okay. So you've seen my #1 close call on Uplift Nature Reserve. Now you'll see #2 on the very next section, and #3 on the podium is gonna be the very last one that you'll see. Which I don't know if I was really about to die, but to me it looks like pretty much. So when your stamina is depleted, really you lose health really fast, especially against ghosts. And close call incoming. You'll see here I lose my stamina and I carelessly proceed forward, and then 2 ghosts shooting at the same time. And when you see how fast my health went down and you see how much I have left here, I was really a quarter of a second to death, especially since. So here I was getting out again to avoid being shot at. But when you hit the button to get out of the Warthog, you have a full second delay before a character is actually out of the Warthog and not taking damage anymore from the shots being shot at the Warthog. So yeah, it was really a really close call. And here usually my rockets hit. Just bad luck that the 2 of them are just avoiding them. So here is the hardest stretch of the entire game, that Wraith. And actually the best tactic is the one I'm using right now, in my opinion. Seems quite risky and suicidal to you. Well, out of all the tactics I've tried, it's the one that has worked the best for me anytime. I remember dying only once doing this, and this was the time that I really died on this level, apart from the engineer's death. So yeah, just making the jump with the Warthog, so that while it's in the air, it's not gonna get hit by the race shot that is obviously going to be shot at it. And rushing at the Wraith. Since its attention is still on the Warthog, it's not that big of a deal to do that. And then yeah, finishing on foot up until the Scorpion, while Buck in the Warthog is taking out the Banshees. You just have to take care of a few ghosts. So now, being on the Scorpion, it was like in reach once the two last chieftains trapped by the dropships are killed. That is to say, to me, the run was already over. I was pretty confident, even with the final encounter against brutes, which, you know, you can die on it, but it's really unlikely. You're so focused because you know that it is the end, and it's not that difficult of a final holdout really against the brutes, especially giving powerful weapons to my allies like I'm going to do. Minutes 14, sorry, to the end of the game, and we still have one close call left. That's incoming at the very beginning of this section. And you'll see, it's really my mistake. I was really stupid. Focused on the Phantoms, and what brilliant idea do I have? Put the Scorpion in front of the elephant. Yeah, burning Scorpion. So I don't actually know. Maybe I would not have blown up, but I think I would have if I had not gotten out of the way. So, with the burning Scorpion on the next area where there are a lot of brutes, especially a chieftain with a Fury, I was being really careful, you know, thinking I really don't want to miss that chieftain because he's hiding behind a car or anything like that, and getting destroyed like an idiot. Just I'm driving by him. Well, it's just that almost empty section before. Actually, there's gonna be two ghosts, I think, in it, because I think I missed one of the Phantoms. So I realized, watching this afterwards from theater mode, I realized that one of the brutes survives in this area. One of the jetpack brutes. He gets stuck to the right of the elephant while it's waiting in the tunnel over there, over yonder. So I do not see him, and unfortunately he didn't have the idea to throw a spike grenade to the rear of my tank. He just stood there, stuck near the elephant. And I think you can see him, you'll see him, I think, if if you watch closely to the right of the screen in just a minute. So here I had killed the fuel rod gun brute already, but I was just checking to be sure. Alright. So I think you can spot the brute on the right here. Yeah, I think we briefly saw him.
Le Scarab! Attention, il nous a vus!
On va trop vite. Je ne peux pas m'arrêter.
Répondez-moi!
L'atout, il va bien.
Je m'en fous de l'alien! Ça va vous?
Ça va, Buck. Mais ce camion poubelle est HS.
Prenez la prochaine sortie. Il y a un bâtiment au nord de la route. Il attendra l'évacuation.
So just one arena left, with one of my very favorite tunes of the entire game, Mercy Plea, the Prepare to Fight tune for the last encounter. So, giving powerful weapons to my allies.
Soldat, j'ai un atout majeur en ma possession et des covenants qui souhaitent sa mort. Je crois que-
Pretty common tactic.
Allez-y maintenant.
Oui, madame.
But here I was really excited. Focused and concentrated, but really excited. I was 99% sure that it was done. And I had already done it once, so
Fantôme ennemi en approche.
first group of enemies, only kind of problem being the fuel rod gun brute, but I brilliantly miss. Here you'll see, empty magazine. Oh, and just by the way, it's just a thing that's annoying me, people confusing, you know, making a mistake calling clips magazines and vice versa. A magazine is the kind of thing that's used on the sniper rifle right now, the pistol right now, and the clip is when you can actually see the bullets because they are just on a metallic bar, like the old style World War I rifles. So nowadays it's 99% only magazines that are being used. There are not clips. Nice, Buck. Or there, I don't know. So yeah, my run lasted for 2 hours and 51 minutes when I originally played the run. And I guess the video is gonna be almost 2 hours and 51 minutes, so the theater lobby images are almost the exact length of the loading screens I had between levels. So the second wave, biggest threat, the 2 snipers, the last real threat of the game. Once the snipers are taken care of, even the couple of hunters is not a big deal, especially with Buck and Dare with their heavy weapons down there, attracting moreover the attention of the hunters, whereas the 2 snipers will be attracted by you. First sniper down, and the second one is gonna be on the right, and he's down. Right, nice. So there's just the 2 hunters down there, and is one dead already? Apparently. Yeah. I reloaded as soon as I had taken the shot. Don't know how I was so confident that it would suffice to kill him. So here, because of the incoming wraiths, I prefer to go to the left, the far left. Well, I prefer. It's a necessity if you don't want to get killed. And the last wave, Jetpack Brute is actually easy, and the chieftain would not is not gonna rush towards you, so no problem at all. Come on, no scope, no scope. Not yet. Yeah, here. Yes, it was an easy one. What? Okay, so just checking to be 100% sure that there was no enemy left on the upper part of the map. No, don't want to get killed right now. Three brutes left. 2 brutes left. 1 enemy left. And just taunting him with a grenade, although he's invincible. And that's it. ODST done, no death. Legendary single segment full path. So it was the first game I completed no death. Over 2 years ago, then I think I did Halo 3 like 4 or 5 months after that. So you'll see the film in a few months from now. And Reach was done just less than a year ago. So I don't know when I'll do the other ones. Well, try the other ones. CE will be extremely tough. Halo 2 I don't think I'll ever try. And then 4, well, it's gonna be okay. 5 okay as well, I think. And yeah, that was it. Romeo is just called Rome.
Ce truc est sûr. Donc il se fait pas toucher. Ah, et merde.
Alright, so stay tuned, people. In a few months, Halo 3, no death, legendary, full path, single segment, which will be way harder, longer, and trickier than this one. See you, people. Bye bye.